Hello everyone and welcome back to another Marvel Champions video. Today I picked up the Valkyrie expansion for Marvel Champions. I didn't expect Fantasy Flight to do a back-to-back release, so last week we had Vision, this week we have Valkyrie. So picked this up, kind of didn't know it was coming out today, but anyway, just grabbed it. Like we do with these, I'm going to open the deck, we're going to take a look at some of the cards, and then I'm going to turn the camera off, play a quick game, and then let you know how my game went and what I think of the deck. So here we go. This is our Valkyrie deck. And what this includes, it's a 60-card hero pack, includes one complete pre-built Valkyrie deck, 31 new cards that can be added to any hero deck, and a Nemesis set featuring the Bewitching Enchantress. And that's all in the back there. So I'm going to go ahead and get this open. We're going to look at some of the key cards. I know she has some kind of I'm not sure if it's like an enchantment, but it's something that can move between various villains and enemies, and while it's on them, I think it does additional things. I think it was like Death's Glow or something like that, from what I remember in the article, the initial article when this was announced. Alright. Alright, so here's our Valkyrie poster. There we go. And let's see. So this is an aggression deck. So it has Alliance that I think can be played. Yeah, Alliance, basically, if you play an Alliance card, other players can help pay the cost of it. And then it has Hinder. Hinder's an older mechanic, but it's when a card with Hinder X keyword is revealed, place X threat on on that card. So it's a Valkyrie, looks like an aggression deck. So here's our deck here. Going to get this open and we'll look at some of the key cards, including Valkyrie and like the Death's Glow or whatever it was called. Alright, so here is Valkyrie on her alter ego side. If it wants to focus at all. We have Brunhilde, or Brunhilde, however you pronounce it. Let's see if it actually wants to focus. There we go, so 4 recovery. And set the Deathglow upgrade aside out of play. And then not this day as an action, detach Deathglow and set it aside out of play. So whatever it's attached to, I guess you can detach it from there. So that's her alter ego side. Again, let's see what we have here. Hand size is 6 with 12 hit points. And then here is Valkyrie on her hero side. Works a little bit better if I just hold it like that, I think. Let's see if it actually wants to focus. It might be focusing on my finger. We'll see. Or was it better if it was like that? I definitely need to come up with a better way to show these cards, because, there we go. Looks like 1 thwart, 2 attack, 1 defense. He's Asgard and an Avenger. And then Death Perception is hero action. Play the set aside Deathglow upgrade as if it were in your hand. And hand size drops from 6 to 5. So there's Valkyrie and the alter ego of Brunhilde. And the key card in this deck, one of the key cards is the Deathglow, which has looks like a 1 cost to play it. There we go. 1 cost to condition attached to an enemy. As a force to interrupt when the attached enemy is defeated. Set this card aside out of play. If Valkyrie defeated that enemy, ready her. So basically, when it gets defeated, you set it aside, and then once you defeat that enemy, she can ready herself. So that's pretty good. Let's see what other key cards we have in here. Let's see. So we have an aggression deck here. So we have Another version of Thor. There's an allied version of Thor. I know they've done the Jane Foster Thor as an ally in another set. So we have Throg, which is the Frog Thor. So there we go. So some pretty good aggression cards. And let me see where her Bifrost. Alright, and here is her obligation. So this is Trouble in Otherworld. Don't know if it'll focus, but what it is, this is her obligation. Give to the Brunhilde player. Valkyrie cannot attack the enemy with the Death Glow attached to it. It is an alter ego action. You can spend an energy resource and a mental resource to remove this from the game. So this obligation doesn't look like it actually even gives you the option. A lot of the older obligations would have, like exhaust your character and get rid of this card, or do some other effect and discard it. So that doesn't happen here. And here we have Enchantress. The Enchantress Minion, which is comes in with 2 scheme and 1 attack, has 5 health. It's Asgard and Elite, and when revealed, search the encounter deck, discard pile, and set aside area for a copy of Seduced, and attach it to your identity, and then shuffle your deck. So there's that. We'll look at Seduced in just a moment. So that's the Enchantress. And Seduced is this one. Yep. And here is the Seduced enchantment, or attachment. I guess it's probably an enchantment as well, but so attached to your identity, you cannot make basic attacks or play attack events. It's an alter ego action. You can spend an energy and mental resource to discard this card. So I guess you can still thwart with this out, but you can't attack with it or use because you can't use basic attacks or attack event cards. So that's pretty brutal. Then you got to spend an energy resource and a mental resource to get rid of it. And then we have our other cards here for our other identities. So we have our Justice, Leadership, Protection, and then kind of just the standard basic grays as well. And there's that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the deck. I'm going to play it against Rhino. I'm going to let you know what I think of it. I've heard some people not particularly loving this deck, but I'm going to give it a shot and let you know what I think. So we'll be right back with that. All right, and we are back after playing our first game with Valkyrie. We ended up losing to Threat, so losing to Rhino with 7 Threat on the scheme. However, some interesting things about Valkyrie. So Valkyrie, her card here is a 1 thwart, 2 attack, 1 defense. So she is very much in a way like Thor, where she is very good at attacking, but not so good at thwarting. So you're going to want to mostly thwart with events. If you're using her pre-built deck, a lot of her allies aren't even particularly good at thwarting either, I've noticed. I had a couple, I think the only one I actually got out was Thor. Thor's cool because he comes in with toughness. He has a high attack, but a low thwart as well. So wasn't able to get rid of a lot of threat. But the interesting cards in this deck for Valkyrie are the Death Glow condition, which you looked at earlier. So Death Glow, you attach it to an enemy. If when the attached enemy is defeated, set the card aside out of play. If Valkyrie defeated that enemy, ready Valkyrie. So I was able to get a couple uses out of her when I had this attached to Rhino. So I attached defeated in 1 phase, got rid of it, and then was able to ready Valkyrie. Other good cards for Valkyrie in this deck are going to be, if you're playing aggression, combat training is always really good because it gets her attack up. So her attack goes from 2 to 3. Another really good card is Dragon Fang. This is one of her swords. So it's a 1-cost upgrade. It's restricted. It's Asgard and a weapon. Valkyrie gets +1 attack or +2 attack while attacking the enemy with the Death Glow attached to it. So at one point I had Valkyrie up to 2, 3, 4 attack with combat training and Dragon Fang. Another really good card can do a ton of damage, and it also has a bonus if you attack the enemy with Death Glow, is Have At Thee. So Have At Thee is a 3-cost event. It's an attack, hero action, attack, deal 7 damage to an enemy. If that enemy has the Death Glow attached to it, the attack gains overkill. So you can use it to destroy a minion and then have that damage carry over. I just use it for direct damage. I got a couple of these off pretty quickly, so I was able to get through his Rhino stage 1 pretty quick. Stage 2 became a little rougher, where I almost had max threat on the scheme at one point. I got some of it down. I think I had it at like 6, and I got it down to 3. But then Breaking and Taking came out, as well as another scheme that was a crisis, which I had to deal with, where you have to remove threat from the crisis scheme first before you can remove threat from a different scheme. So another good card, I didn't actually get it out or get to play it, is Flight of the Valkyrie. Hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's a 2-cost upgrade, and you attach it to the enemy with Death Glow attached. And so, like, after the enemy with Death Glow attached is defeated, discard Flight of the Valkyrie to remove 5 threat from a scheme. So I think Valkyrie has a lot of the same problems that Thor did, at least with the pre-built deck in a single-player game, where Thor and both Valkyrie and Thor are both very good at getting damage out. They're not so good at handling threat. So I think if we see Valkyrie decks that are actually playable, at least playable solo, playable single-handed, they're probably going to be Justice decks. So they're probably going to be decks that allow you to remove threat in an easier way, because like as this default deck is, it's not particularly good at removing threat at all. There's a couple cards that will get rid of threat, like this, and some of her allies do have threat removal, but their thwart is fairly low. So I think like both Thor and Throg, the Throg for Thor, only basically I think their thwart is like 1. So that can get kind of rough. The way I ended up losing was I think I had 4 threat on the scheme. Breaking and Taking was out, so you're getting those extra encounter cards. You're getting 1 extra in a single player game. You're getting instead of just 1, you're getting 2 encounter cards, and then one of them was I think it's called Advance. It's the one of Red Skull on it going like that, and that one allows the enemy to thwart again or to scheme. So like I got attacked by Rhino. I survived the attack. First card that came out was Shocker, the Spider-Man villain, or Nemesis, or enemy, whatever it is. And I took 1 damage from that, because when he comes into play, he deals 1 damage to the player's characters. And then the second card coming out was Advance, which allowed Rhino to scheme. Rhino schemes, his scheme is fairly low, it's only 1. But then the card I drew was Bomb Scare. I'm still using the default Rhino deck. It was Bomb Scare, which has has 2 boost icons on it. So I had 4 threat on the scheme already. You add 3, and that's 7, and it goes off at 7 threat per player. So ended up losing that way. I think, again, like I said earlier, if people are going to play Valkyrie solo, probably the best aspect is probably going to be Justice. I'm not a huge fan of Justice. I really like Aggression and Protection are probably my 2 favorites, and then Leadership, and then Justice. But like in the past, when Thor came out, probably, I want to say, was it like a year ago, maybe a little more than a year ago? No, it was like probably a couple years ago now, because it was 2020 when Thor came out, I think. I don't recall, but anyway, the default Thor deck was Aggression, and it was very good at, like I said earlier, very good at dealing damage, not so good at removing threat. Valkyrie is the same way. So that's going to do for this video. Again, Valkyrie, very, very strong in attack, but definitely you probably want to do Leadership, not Leadership, Justice if you're going to play her solo. I think if you're playing with a group of people, you can kind of dedicate Valkyrie to be kind of like the damage dealer, and have your other players, or if you're playing like 2-handed, have a character that's very good at removing threat, and then have just Valkyrie swinging in and attacking minions, attacking the enemy directly, and things like that. But that's going to do for this video. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We'll be back again with more almost said Star Wars Destiny. I haven't thought about Star Wars Destiny in a long time. With more Marvel Champions videos. I don't know what the next set coming out is. I'll have to take a look at the release window there, and we'll see. But if there's any more cards revealed for other sets, I'll be talking about those as well. And then when more product comes out, I'll be discussing that as well. I'm really looking forward to the Sinister Motives expansion, which is all about Spider-Man. So we're going to be getting Miles Morales. We're going to be getting Gwen Stacy. I think like the proper version of Venom for like an enemy villain deck, Sandman villain deck, and then the Sinister Six. So We'll be back again of that. Thanks again for watching. Take care and have a good one.